Living paycheck to paycheck has become the main financial lifestyle for U.S. consumers, Michael Snyder reports. Despite the fact that our politicians in Washington have now borrowed and spending trillions of dollars that we do not have in a desperate attempt to prop up the economy, living paycheck to paycheck has become a permanent lifestyle for most Americans. In other words, well over half of the country is literally living on the brink of financial disaster. When you are living paycheck to paycheck, there is no room for error. A job loss, a business failure, or a medical emergency can mean complete and utter financial ruin if you don't have a cushion to fall back on. That is why the results of a brand new survey are so alarming. According to a report that we just released by Lending Club, 62% of all U.S. adults were living paycheck to paycheck last month. High inflation and high interest rates continue to weigh on American households. As of September, 62% of adults said that they're living paycheck to paycheck, according to a new Lending Club report. For years, people like me have been warning Americans not to live like this. Living paycheck to paycheck only works if the paychecks keep coming in every month. Once they stop, you're at risk of losing everything. Unfortunately, living paycheck to paycheck is the main financial lifestyle among U.S. consumers at this point. The report said living paycheck to paycheck remains the main financial lifestyle among U.S. consumers. When you live on the edge, even a relatively minor event like an unexpected vehicle repair can become a major crisis. That probably helps to explain why a different survey found that a whopping 74% of all Americans are stressed about finances. Some 47% of Americans say they're stressed about finances, according to a separate CNBC Your Money Financial Confidence survey conducted in August. Inflation, rising interest rates, and a lack of savings contribute to those feelings. When millions of workers lost their jobs in 2008 and 2009, vast numbers of Americans that were living paycheck to paycheck lost their homes because they could no longer pay their mortgages. Unfortunately, another wave of massive layoffs has begun. In fact, this month it appears that tech layoffs have started to surge once again. In October, Nokia announced that it was laying off 14,000 employees following a quarter that saw profits drop by 69%. And another major tech company like Qualcomm, Qualtrics, and LinkedIn also announced significant layoffs. Unfortunately, much greater economic troubles are on the way, and most Americans are deeply concerned about what the months ahead will bring. According to the survey that was just released by Chapman University, 55% of Americans are either afraid or very afraid that we're heading into an economic or financial collapse. Meanwhile, economic concerns in America are increasing, the survey showed. Since the first such survey by Chapman University in 2013, at least one fear related to the economy has appeared in the top 10. And this year, the fear of economic or financial collapse was second on the list, increasing from the last year when it ranked number 8. This year, nearly 55% of respondents said they were very afraid or afraid of the matter. Considering this year's high interest rates, high inflation, and unexpected banking crisis, economic recession was something a lot of Americans were afraid of. Helping to explain why fear of economic and financial collapse ranked so high, Mr. Andrus said, "We have already been through some intense economic turbulence over the past few years, but greater pain is on the way. At this point, that is so obvious that even the normally rabidly optimistic National Association of Business Economists is warning of a more challenging business environment as the economy slows. The nation's leading economists stopped short of forecasting a full-blown recession, but they do see headwinds for the U.S. economy. The October 2023 Business Conditions Survey results suggest a more challenging business environment as the economy slows," said National Association of Business Economists NABE President Ellen Zentner, Chief U.S. Economist Morgan Stanley. For once, they're right on target. The U.S. economy really is slowing down, and the European economy is slowing down as well. The euro area economy risks falling into a recession later this year after official data Tuesday showed that output shrank slightly in the third quarter. Gross domestic product across the 20 countries that use the euro fell by 0.1% in July to September quarter compared with the previous 3 months, according to an initial estimate published by Eurostat, the European Union Statistics Office. The dip follows a rise of only 0.2% in the April to June quarter and highlights the fine line between contraction and growth in the Eurozone. GDP was stagnant in the final 3 months of 2022 and the first quarter of this year. Even in the best case scenario, the path ahead is going to be very rocky for the global economy. But what's going to happen if the flow of oil from the Middle East is restricted or cut off for an extended period of time? As I discussed yesterday, that really would be an economic nightmare for the whole world because 31% of the world's oil comes from the Middle East. A global oil crisis would deeply affect all of us because our entire way of life is predicated on cheap energy. So it will be important to watch events in the Middle East very closely. This is by Michael Snyder, and it says about the author, my name is Michael, and my brand new book entitled End Times is now available on Amazon. In addition to my new book, I've written 6 other books that are available on Amazon, including 7-Year Apocalypse, Lost Prophecies of the Future America, The Beginning of the End, and Living a Life That Really Matters, Commissions Earned. When you purchase any of these books, you help to support the work that I'm doing, and one way that you can really help is by sending copies as gifts to family and friends. Time is short, and I need help getting these warnings into the hands of as many people as possible. I've also started a brand new Substack newsletter, and I encourage you to subscribe so you won't miss any of my articles. I've published thousands of articles on the Economic Collapse blog, End of the American Dream, and the Most Important News, and the articles that I publish on those sites are republished on dozens of other prominent websites all over the globe. I always freely and happily allow others to republish my articles on their own websites, but I also ask that they include this about the author section with each article. The material contained in this article is for general information purposes only, and readers should consult licensed professionals before making any legal, business, financial, or health decisions. I encourage you to follow me on social media, Facebook and Twitter, and any way that you can share these articles with others is definitely a great help. These are such troubled times and people need hope. John 3:16 tells us about the hope that God has given us through Jesus Christ. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life. If you have not already done so, I strongly urge you to invite Jesus Christ to be your Lord and Savior today. This is on the Economic Collapse blog by Michael Snyder. Please leave your comments. Thank you for your support. Support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.